Richard and I, Carolyn, have come together because we have called to bring forth messages from Yeshua and Mother God. And these messages are relating to the full moon in March of 2011, which falls on the 19th, and on the 20th is the equinox. Two forces so closely together that their energies overlap one another. And so we feel that this is a very auspicious date, and we have gathered at their request to bring forth messages concerning this event. And Richard will bring forth Yeshua's message, and I will bring forth Mother God's message. Richard?
And Yeshua is here, and he is saying, as Carolyn has said, these two events essentially arise at the same time. They are indeed extremely close together, and as such, their two energies come together. I would also add that this full moon is a full moon when the moon is indeed quite close to Earth in relative terms. It is the closest pass for some considerable time, and the closest pass for this next year. And that proximity also adds to the power of this full moon event. And so indeed this is a powerful combination. You may recall that the last solstice in December had a similar correlation, and indeed that was also a very powerful event in terms of what is unfolding upon your planet. I will also take a moment to mention the energies which began to come to the planet with the astrological alignment of March 11th, which has seen the energies of love, powerful agape love, begin to flow to the planet in a manner and on a level that has not been seen for a long, long time. And indeed these energies have had a role in some of the events that have begun to unfold. You may recall that the Japanese earthquake coincided with this timing, and whilst you may not look upon that earthquake as an act of love, it indeed is an act which was inspired by love, because it is a step which was an essential part of the preparation of planet Earth for its ascension in early 2013. And so, whilst there is a tendency to focus on the damage and loss of life, which I can understand and all would, in a sense, wish to not see, this was an important event on many levels, because part of that event also includes a wake-up call to humanity, which you are beginning to see unfold. This event with the nuclear reactors will continue to escalate for some time, and the consequences of these issues with the reactors will be quite significant. It is clear that humanity has not been willing to acknowledge the risks that using this kind of power generation technology represents. And so it is taking a more extreme wake-up call to trigger this recognition. Humanity, for the most part, does not recognize that the byproducts of the nuclear fission process travel way beyond your biosphere. These particles, these highly energetic particles, flow out into the cosmos and have an impact on many other forms of life. And in your arrogance, you have ignored the possibility that there might be other beings who might be impacted by what happens. And so it is time for a very loud wake-up call about the nature of this technology. So this is part of this event. And I wanted to mention all of this because it is important to recognize the correlation that exists between the energies which began to flow with that astrological alignment of the 11th of March and this full moon and equinox coincidence. I mention it because the energies that are coming with this coincidence will add to what is already in place as a result of that astrological alignment that I mentioned. And what I will say to you is that there have been many steps along this path that have sought to initiate many of the processes that need to unfold for humanity and the earth and all upon it to prepare in earnest for what is unfolding at the end of 2012 and beyond. And mechanisms have been found along the way to interfere with this in various ways, some of them upon your planet and some elsewhere. And there had to be a line drawn in the sand in some manner to ensure that this unfolded, to ensure that the ending of the cycle of the dark, which is part of what is unfolding, not just upon your planet, but indeed elsewhere, as a result of the events upon your planet. It was essential that all of this be unfolded. And that line in the sand is now. And that is why you saw this earthquake. This earthquake is a symbol, a signal of this preparation. Just as the earthquakes in Christchurch were a symbol of this preparation. The growing levels of volcanic activity are symbols of this preparation. Part of what occurred with the Japanese earthquake was a shift in the axis of the planet. And it is one of several that are required to return the planet to the alignment of the axis with cosmic center. And so you can expect more events to unfold as the planet prepares itself. And I want all of you to understand that this preparation represents no threat to any individual that has chosen the path to ascension. Just as the world witnessed the survival of that very young child in the tsunami in Japan, so it is that any of you who are on this path or choose to be on this path will be protected regardless of where you might be. So have no fear about this preparation. Simply acknowledge your path, and indeed acknowledge the path of others that have chosen. All of those who have perished in the Japanese earthquake and tsunami all chose their paths. It's important to understand this. And as you live your life in this consciousness, it is difficult to acknowledge and accept this truth. But it is the nature of things. And so I wanted to take a moment to speak more broadly about what is unfolding. And so, as I said, these energies of this full moon equinox coincidence are indeed very powerful and will precipitate the preparation in earnest of all upon your planet. This you need to understand. The door is finally being closed upon all of those efforts that have been made to prevent this unfolding. And so it is.
Thank you, Richard and Yeshua. And now I turn my attention to Mother God. She is showing herself to me as this beautiful woman. And she stands with her arms outstretched, as if she is inviting her children to come to her. And she says, there is solace in my love. As I represent the Divine Feminine, and I tell you that throughout the history of your planet, I have always sent representatives to live upon its surface, as I have a connection to them, and they in turn have a connection to you. And even though the planet and you as individuals have had many travails in your life, I have always been with you, at least energetically. Some of you have connected to me emotionally and mentally. So you understand what I am saying, that emotionally, energetically, mentally, I have been with many of you. And for those of you who have not had this experience, I say, show your willingness to open to my love. Because it is in these moments that are coming forth that I can speak to your soul, to your heart, to your mind. I can speak to the very depths of who you are. I am part of all of you. All of you. The Creator brought forth those particles, as you know, brought them forth in great abundance, with colors and voices of song and dance, and implanted in each and every one of you a thought, a desire to follow the path that you are on. And I, in turn, have also participated in being a part of you, though you might not understand this. There needs to be two aspects of energy. Some would call it the plus and the minus. Some would call it the male and the female. Some would call it the heart of creation, the heart of the sacred geometrical wheel consisting of the circle and the straight line. And so what appears on the surface is that which comes from the Creator, but I have participated in your creation also. That is not so widely known. I am a part of you, as all there is a part of you. And so I understand your soul. I understand the complexity and the simplicity of what it is and who you are. Know that you can easily connect with me, because in a sense, it is like going home. So I hold my arms open to all of you. And you have the choice. You still have the choice. As of this moment, you can choose to go on, to be part of that new wave of humanity coming forth, building up your skills, building up those aspects of the love in which you were created, building up those aspects of love so that you can bring it to the planet where you live and connect with others. It is what we desire, bringing heaven upon earth and living that life in the fullness of what was intended for you. It is all there. It is all available to you. Just connect to my love. Now that is one aspect of which I wish to speak with you. The other aspect is, as you know, from Yeshua's message, there are trials and tribulations that will come forth upon your planet to awaken those souls to who and what they are and the path that is open to them. Or else you have the choice to stay and repeat those lessons that came forth in the third dimension in which you live. You have that choice. I hope that you are ready to walk that path towards this cosmic love of which I speak. Understand that if you take that path, you will bring forth all of your abilities to the fullest extent. You can become much more than what you were even in Atlantis. And I say these things because some of you remember Atlantis. You remember the growth. You remember the spiritual goodness. You might even remember the fall. You might even remember the dark as it came in and tried to extinguish the light. But I say to you, follow my path of love, and you will experience not only the high point of Atlantis, but way beyond that. It is there waiting for you. Have faith that what I propose you can accomplish. So it is.